Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Japan is not going to change their anime for Westerners. Westerners need to adapt to us. That's coming from the director of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Very outspoken man, but he's basically saying, hey, we should not have to change anime to please the West.
I agree.
I agree with him.
That's why it's so popular, because your stories resonate with people here as is. I don't want you to change it either. I think most anime fans don't want you to change it. They're mad even about, when they do the translations and they mess them up.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna talk about over in China. Reportedly, China is banning Japanese anime and pushing their own animation. So that's a whole nother thing. But there's a lot of discussion now that anime is becoming more and more popular and more profitable, that everybody wants to get their fingers into it and they want to micromanage it because it's a platform. Anytime you build something to a place where it becomes a massive money-making, influential platform, you've got a line of people there waiting to change it.
Translation. Hollywood studios all want to in on it now because it's so popular and it's kicking their ass, but they want to change it into their image and what they want.
Yes.
And then it won't be popular.
Right. So yeah,
See also YouTube.
See also YouTube. Yeah. See also Western franchises, Star Wars, Marvel, etc., etc. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This got from Niche Gamer. They got from Forbes. Neon Genesis Evangelion director Anno has said he doesn't make content for overseas markets. Westerners have to adapt to his work.
Yeah,
so he had an interview in Forbes Japan making the rounds now after comments made by the famed director when responding to the massive surge in the global market for Japanese media like anime, manga, and more. The global market for Japanese content has tripled in the last decade, reaching, in 2023 is $371 million, surpassing even Japan's semiconductor and steel industries. That's insane. Anime is bringing more.
I'm not surprised. It's globally huge.
Well, I mean, just look at Demon Slayer, how well that one did this year. And it's
Chainsaw Man too did pretty well.
Chainsaw Man did well. I mean, that was unthinkable even 10 years ago. That you could drop it because they always had the Dragon Ball movies in theaters, but they were always limited release. They never did super well. But now it's they're destroying Hollywood movies. So trust me, they're noticing anime over here. So he said it hasn't phased Anno, who apparently never thinks of the Western market. He never thinks of it. He said the actual production process hasn't changed that much, consciously speaking. The environment might have changed, but I myself have never consciously made works with overseas audiences in mind. I can only make domestic work. Movie companies are quick to say overseas, but I don't aim for that myself. He says basic stance is to focus first and foremost on what resonates domestically, on what people here find interesting. To that, he said, people overseas find it interesting. That's a bonus.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, because, they were doing that, they were telling great stories that everybody loved. I think when they're pandering, they're just making shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just it. And you're going to dilute it. And, what separates anime from Western animation is a lot of times is, the Japanese culture and just kind of the ethos that goes into the work. But he said works created through Japanese thought are, after all, difficult to understand in any language other than Japanese. Visual media has elements like visuals and music, so I think it has fewer language barriers compared to other fields. He had choice words for whether or not other Japanese creators can or should adapt their work to better suit Western audiences. The dialogue is in Japanese, and it's a drama about people being driven by emotions born from Japanese thought. Mm-hmm. So I believe it can be accepted overseas by those who understand that, but we can't adapt it for them. I'm sorry, but we ask the audience to adapt to us.
Well, the thing is, it's their work. They're the creators. They're the artists. They're the people behind it. They've been making their stuff for their own audiences. I mean, early anime stuff was made for their audiences, and they've been wildly popular over here when they weren't adapting it, or trying to kiss ass over here in the U.S. and other Western markets. and they're wildly popular because people, if it's a good story and they have good characters and it's interesting and visually exciting, they're gonna like it here no matter what. So yes, you should be authentic to yourself. You should tell your own stories. You should, worry about making, your product for, your people and your country and if that's what you feel like is, a guiding principle. But if it's good, it's going to resonate with people anyway. I think that's kind of what he's saying.
Yeah, and there was a time, I'm old enough. Yeah, and we're old enough to remember if you wanted a Japanese work to come to the West before a lot of ways you had to butcher it to make it palatable for American audiences because they didn't understand, a lot of the nuance because it was a cultural thing, right? But the same thing happens with Western entertainment. A lot of times they'll have to make changes to it to sell it overseas because, the Japanese don't understand or whatever the market is. They don't really understand the U.S. That is funny because we're recording this day after Christmas. And I was watching a little bit of a documentary about Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan.
When were you watching that?
I was watching it in between cooking.
Okay.
So it was on my phone. Yeah. So the whole thing with KFC in Japan was basically a marketing ploy. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but in Japan, KFC is what you eat for Christmas for a lot of people. And that is not the case in the U.S. But the Japanese think apparently that's what we do over here. I don't remember the last time I've been to a KFC. I don't remember the last time we've been to one.
They closed the one that was close by. But yeah, I saw the thing about it. Basically, they marketed it as a Western Christmas, and then it became huge. And then I think now they know that's not what we do here, but it's still it caught on. Now it's just tradition at this point.
Yeah, which is, it's a cool tradition, but again, that came from, I think, a lack of understanding, coupled with marketing, because I guess the thought process behind it was, they wanted Western style Christmas dinner in Japan, but turkey is very hard to come by. So they're like, well, chicken's a bird too.
Yeah,
so.
it was like as close to turkey as you can get.
I'm gonna blow your minds, Japanese listeners. We do lasagna on Christmas. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a your tradition. Yes.
Yes. Yes, we go hunt it outside. It's like a Pokemon.
So, you do what?
It's like a lasagna. We just go out and shoot it. Skin it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we do. But no, it's weird because we always get a very distorted view, I think, of Japanese culture because you get these Americans that watch anime and they're like, well, this is what it's like over there. But it's always, kind of filtered through our pores. And some things just don't translate. That's, we talk about that with localizers. And, they make changes, but they're making changes for political reasons, not to make the work more accessible to Western audiences. It's like, we got to make changes to it because there just isn't enough, trans representation in this anime.
That's just it. That's not what their intention was,
That was not their intention. So you basically have to get as close to the mark as possible, but then realize you're going to have some cultural differences for sure. So speaking of cultural differences, we'll talk about Japan and China. This was interesting. They said there's a sudden ban on Japanese anime at China's biggest comic convention, which is so weird because anime is super popular over there too. Mm-hmm. But Fandom Wire has this new Chinese style only. Why China's largest comic convention banned Japanese anime and manga. So they said there's 13,000 refunds. They lost tourism. Why? So this is a Comic Up. They suddenly banned Japanese anime and manga from its upcoming December show. On December 19th, they announced that it would now focus on a new Chinese style theme at the anime.
That's weird.
That is kind of weird. They announced that it would now focus on a new Chinese style theme. This happened days before the 32nd edition of Comic Up, which is scheduled to take place from December 27th through the 28th in China. The event organizers indicated that the shift is to align exhibits with domestic culture and current social priorities. As a result,
credit score. Anime got hit with the credit score.
Yeah, right. As a result, the ban has caused high ticket cancellations among visiting fans. Well, yeah, if they're going there specifically because they want to, see what's going on in anime and manga, and it is crazy popular over there, and then you're like, yeah, we're not gonna have your weeb shit over here. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. The decision reportedly stems from the ongoing political tension between China and Japan.
Yeah, that tracks.
So they do a lot of fan comics there. It's a major biannual comic and fan creation expo. Traditionally, a large share of the content, that'd be the fan comics, have celebrated Japanese anime manga, from Naruto to Demon Slayer. So
yes,
here's
it's popular globally.
Yes. So, well, what's going on in Japan is Japan's doing a lot of animation themselves. They're doing a lot of, video games themselves that are anime style, and a lot of the animation's being done in Japan now too. But yeah, I mean, you're going to get probably the CCP involved, and they don't like the content. So I don't know, or it's just a financial thing. It's like, well, we've got what do they call a Manga? It's basically like their version of a Manga. We've got anime at home. We've got manga at home. So this is the statement. Due to consideration regarding the very bad translation. Due to consideration regarding the current social environment and our cultural obligations, the organizing committee has decided to pivot this edition of the convention toward a new Chinese style theme. That's a very weird pivot. Just all of a sudden, like a week before the event.
Yeah, that's because something happened and probably tensions were raising about, you said, the conflict between the two. And then we're just going to change it all of a sudden.
Yeah. They said, they report the exhibitors interpreted the change as a ban on Japanese origin anime and manga at the venue. They also claimed that their booths were canceled for reasons they described as well known to all and beyond their control. I'm guessing porn, if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. So that's what they're mad about?
Yeah, I think so. They said other foreign content, including themes from the U.S., South Korea, and Europe, is not affected. This further indicates that the clampdown is not a blanket ban on all pop culture. In fact, it's specifically targeting Japanese anime and related works. So yeah, they said 12% of pre-sold ticket sales got refunded. Over 150 independent artists have opted for a virtual showcase rather than participating at the convention. I said over 78% of the Comic Up floor is occupied by China's major game players. Okay, here we go. Tencent, Shanghai Comics, Katakawa, China, South Korea, and the U.S. occupy 15% of the floor as their national presenters. Basically, what I think they're trying to do, I mean, there might be some political tensions, but I think it's financial because China is pushing heavy into animation video games right now. And they said
yes and no. It just seems like a week out. It doesn't seem like it's just that, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have waited till a week out. Like something had to have happened to make a change.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a very weird thing, but I think what we're going to see more of is, especially as you get, different countries getting involved in creating their version of anime, that they probably will try to push the Japanese out completely. I could totally see Hollywood being like, "No, we're just going to push Western quote unquote anime. We'll ape the style, but we're not going to, we don't need you anymore, Japan." I don't know. I could see it, but they don't give a shit. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.